What if everything you have been told about studying is quietly sabotaging your success, and the real secret to topping your exams is not working harder, but working smarter in a way most students completely ignore? Imagine sitting at your desk, surrounded by books, notes, and endless chapters, feeling overwhelmed, believing that success demands you to consume every single page, every single line, every single detail, yet deep down sensing that no matter how much time you invest, the results never fully match your effort, and that quiet frustration begins to grow. This is where the hidden truth begins to reveal itself. A truth that has transformed the lives of high achievers across disciplines, a principle so simple yet so powerful that once you understand it, you will never approach studying the same way again. The 80-20 rule teaches that not all efforts are equal, not all topics carry the same weight, and not all hours of study produce the same results, meaning that a small portion of what you study often contributes to the majority of your exam performance. Yet most students unknowingly fall into the trap of equal distribution, treating every chapter as equally important, spreading their time thin across everything, and ultimately mastering nothing. The difference between average and exceptional is not intelligence, it is focus, and focus begins with recognizing that certain concepts appear again and again in exams, forming patterns that repeat year after year, quietly signaling where your attention should go. When you begin to shift your mindset from covering everything to identifying what truly matters, you step into a new level of control, where studying becomes intentional rather than exhausting, strategic rather than chaotic. You start to notice how past papers reveal clues, how teachers emphasize certain ideas more than others, how some topics connect across multiple chapters, forming a web of understanding that carries far more weight than isolated facts. This is not about cutting corners or avoiding hard work. It is about directing your energy where it creates the highest impact, about choosing depth over distraction, about realizing that success is not built on how much you do, but on how well you do what actually counts. As this idea begins to settle in your mind, something shifts within you. A sense of clarity replaces confusion, and suddenly the mountain of study material no longer feels impossible to climb, because you are no longer trying to climb all of it at once. You are choosing the path that leads most directly to the top. As you begin to apply this principle, something unexpected starts to happen, and it is here that most students either rise or fall, because the moment you decide to focus only on high-impact topics, doubt quietly creeps in, whispering that you might be missing something important, that skipping even a single chapter could cost you everything. And this fear can pull you back into the old pattern of trying to do it all. But this is the exact point where transformation demands courage, because strategic focus is not about ignorance, it is about intelligent selection. And the real power of the 80-20 rule is revealed only when you trust the process enough to let go of unnecessary noise. You begin by analyzing past exam papers, not casually, but with deep attention, noticing patterns that most people overlook, identifying which topics appear repeatedly, which questions are rephrased but fundamentally the same, and which concepts form the backbone of the subject. Slowly, a map begins to form in your mind, a map that highlights the critical 20%, the core ideas that carry the majority of marks. And once you see this map, you realize that the exam is not as unpredictable as it once seemed. However, just as this clarity begins to settle, the suspense intensifies, because now the challenge is no longer about finding what matters, but about mastering it at a level most students never reach. It is easy to recognize important topics, but it is far more difficult to commit to understanding them deeply, to practice them repeatedly, to refine your thinking until you can approach any variation of a question with confidence. This is where many students fail, not because they lack ability, but because they underestimate the depth required to truly dominate a concept. The illusion of productivity can still trap you, making you feel accomplished by simply reviewing notes or watching lectures, while real mastery demands active engagement, solving problems, testing your recall, and pushing your limits. At this stage, the gap between average and extraordinary widens dramatically, because those who embrace depth begin to move ahead rapidly, while others remain stuck in surface-level understanding. You may feel the pressure building, the fear of whether this focused approach will truly pay off. But this tension is a sign that you are on the edge of growth, that you are stepping into a method that requires discipline but rewards you with clarity, confidence, and control. And as the exam approaches, while others feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of material, You stand grounded, knowing that your preparation is not scattered, but sharpened, not excessive, but effective, and this quiet confidence becomes your greatest advantage. As the final phase of your preparation unfolds, everything begins to align in a way that once felt impossible, and you start to realize that success was never about exhausting yourself with endless hours, but about directing your effort with precision, clarity, and purpose. The 80-20 rule now becomes more than just a strategy. It becomes a mindset that shapes how you think, how you act, and how you approach every challenge in front of you. You no longer chase every piece of information, you pursue understanding, and that shift alone separates you from the majority who remain trapped in cycles of overwork and underperformance. Your study sessions become sharper, shorter, and significantly more effective because you are no longer distracted by what does not matter, and instead, you are fully engaged with the concepts that carry the greatest weight. As you revisit your high-yield topics, you do not simply review them, you refine them, strengthening your ability to recall, apply, and adapt your knowledge under pressure. And this repetition builds a level of confidence that cannot be shaken easily. When the exam day finally arrives, the environment may still feel intense, the room filled with silent tension and ticking clocks, but within you there is a sense of calm control because you recognize the patterns in the questions, you see the familiar structures, and you understand exactly what is being asked of you. While others hesitate, second-guessing their preparation, you move forward with clarity, trusting the system you committed to, trusting the effort you invested where it truly mattered. Even when unexpected questions appear, your deep understanding allows you to navigate them with logic and reasoning, rather than panic, and this ability becomes your hidden advantage. As you complete the exam, a powerful realization settles in that you did not need to know everything, you only needed to master what mattered most, and that insight extends far beyond academics, becoming a guiding principle for every area of your life. You begin to see how focusing on the vital few can transform not just your results, but your time, your energy, and your confidence in ways you never imagined. This is the true power of studying less and scoring more, not as a shortcut, but as a smarter path to excellence, one that respects your effort while maximizing your outcome. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.